So it turns out, no, Pokemon Go is not catching all of your data. So yesterday, people were very concerned about what appeared to be the Pokemon Go app, the extremely popular new augmented reality Pokemon catching simulator, getting into your Google information and supposedly having a huge amount of control of your information, even being able to pose as you. The initial post that got spread a ton said that Pokemon Go could read your email, send email as you, access all of your Google Drive documents, look at your search history, your maps navigation history, which that would sort of make sense actually, considering what the app does, access private photos, and more. And it turns out, no, that's not actually true. So the company behind it has put out this statement that apparently Google is corroborating. Now, you could say this is not true, but I do want to read it for you. We recently discovered that the Pokemon Go account creation process on iOS and Android, by the way, erroneously requests full access permission to the user's Google account. However, Pokemon Go only accesses basic Google profile information, specifically your user ID and email address, and no other Google account information was actually accessed. And supposedly Google has verified that it did not actually access any other information, and they requested, and Google is working on changing the request for permissions when you sign up for the app, when you download it. And so it turns out that no, they're not going to be sending email pretending to be you. They're not going to be ordering moonstones or whatever. But look, I do want to say, while it turned out that the initial hysteria wasn't true, as is often the case with the internet, I sort of like that people were freaking out about it. Even if it turns out to be inaccurate, people all too often don't care enough about the information that they're sharing, or the information that might be being taken from them, and the long-term or even short-term consequences of that information. And very often, in pursuit of games or pornography or whatever, we give huge access to the intimate details of our lives, and people don't care enough about it. Very rarely, even when the government is invading their data, do they really care about it. And so in this particular case, where people were concerned about their emails being gone through or whatever, yeah, I want them to be concerned about them. I want them to be worried about their data and who's accessing it. And I hope that they take this sort of concern and apply it to the government in the future. And say that no, like just concerns over terrorism shouldn't mean that I don't have any rights to privacy online. Okay, if hunting for Pikachu doesn't give you privacy rights, then why should terrorists stop your privacy rights? Neither side of that actually makes sense. So that's good. But I do also want to give some of my brief, I guess, reactions to playing Pokemon Go for about 5 days now. This isn't a full review. I probably won't even do one, but if I do, I want to wait until I'm a little bit higher level and I've done more gym battles. But I've been playing it now for like 5 days. For most of that was just trying to get on and the servers were broken, so I couldn't actually play it. But there was a day this weekend where I went out specifically to catch Pokemon. And I used some of the microtransactions like the incense that attracts Pokemon to you. And I went to a very busy area, the Santa Monica Promenade. And it was Poke Central. Not just in terms of there were Pokemon everywhere, but there were also people playing Pokemon everywhere. It was pretty amazing. Now, the bad side, the criticisms of Pokemon Go. It doesn't actually have that much to it. And so what you can basically do in this game, if you haven't played it, is you can walk around on a map and you can see where Pokemon are and you can catch them. There are places, physical locations, where a particular person's Pokemon can like be the leader there, and they hold it and it's theirs until they're defeated. And so you can go and fight them and stuff like that. You can level up, you can evolve your Pokemon. But other than that, it's really not that much a Pokemon game. It's sort of like an augmented reality game with a heavy infusion of the theme of Pokemon. But when you actually go and you catch Pokemon, you don't battle them. You just throw Pokeballs at them. It was really a dexterity game at that point. You can't actually fight other trainers, either NPC trainers or your friends. You can't trade Pokemon. And the actual battles are extremely shallow in comparison to real Pokemon games. Now, to some extent, I think that makes sense. They can't fit a full Pokemon game into this. And if you're just walking down the street, you don't want to have to fight a Pokemon for 5 minutes to capture it. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of stuff they could have added into this. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to just fight a friend's Pokemon. We're both in augmented reality. What do I have all these revives for if I never have to revive my Pokemon? They say they're going to add training. They haven't even confirmed that they're going to add dueling in. I think that's a big downside. Now, look, Pokemon Go is the first game. There will probably be a Pokemon Go 2 in 2 years or whatever, and maybe that'll have much more functionality. As it stands right now, I am finding this game to be very interesting, very time-consuming, even though it drains your battery. That's the only thing that frees you from its icy grip. And it is interesting, but it's more interesting as a sign of what's to come and what augmented reality and virtual reality can take to gaming. Gaming doesn't necessarily have to be about just sitting in your couch or at your desk and playing games. It's cool to be able to go out and have the real world be integrated into this. That's definitely something that I can get behind, even if the game right now definitely has some flaws. But I am going to keep playing it, and hopefully they will patch in added functionality, more Pokemon, the ability to trade, duel, and stuff like that. That would add a lot of legs to the game. As it stands right now, I believe that if they don't add that sort of thing, I don't know if people are going to be actively engaged in this in 3 months. I think that as it stands, it's kind of like a more complicated Foursquare, where you're taking over locations. And until they add more, it's possible that we will look back on it in the same way that we now look back on Foursquare, if you even remember what that is. But look it up, you'll get the metaphor. So anyway, don't worry about your data being abused, unless Google comes out and says that Niantic is lying. Right now, it looks like everything's on the up and up. And let me know what you think about the game down below.